All right, let's dive right into the core principles of osteosynthesis. This is really the foundational concept for how we as surgeons approach the management of bone fractures.
And right off the bat, we're faced with this fundamental question. Every single fracture presents this dilemma. How do you get that perfect balance between rigid mechanical stability and, well, the body's own biology of healing? That's the tightrope we walk. And osteosynthesis, that's the entire strategic framework we use to walk it.
So, what are we actually talking about when we say osteosynthesis? Let's get a really clear definition on the table. Osteosynthesis, or OS as you'll hear it called, is the most common method we have for surgically treating fractures. It really boils down to two key steps. You reposition the fragments, getting them back where they belong, and then you fix them in place with implants. Okay, now for the big one, the principle of stability. I mean it when I say that everything from the specific implant we choose to the entire post-op rehabilitation plan, it all hinges on this single foundational concept. When we talk about stability, we're really talking about two different philosophies. On one hand, you've got stable osteosynthesis. Think of this as the heavy-duty approach, using robust implants like plates and nails. The fixation is so solid that you can get the patient moving right away. It's all about immediate function. Then you have unstable osteosynthesis. This might use thinner hardware, like K-wires. Now, it holds the pieces in the right spot, but it's not strong enough on its own. You're going to need a cast or a brace for backup. And that, of course, means you're not getting immediate mobilization. This one choice completely changes the game for the patient's entire recovery. Let's dig a little deeper into stable fixation, because this is where it gets really interesting. You might think the goal is just to hold the bone perfectly still, but the real goal is actually movement. By getting that rock-solid fixation, often with something as fundamental as a lag screw to create compression, we enable early active rehabilitation. And why is that so critical? It helps us avoid something we call fracture disease. This isn't a textbook illness. It's that whole cascade of nasty problems, stiff joints, muscle atrophy, bone density loss that comes from being immobilized for too long. Stable fixation is our best weapon against it. Okay, so we've talked about stability. Now let's talk about where we actually put these implants. Broadly speaking, there are two primary locations relative to the bone. First, we have intramedullary osteosynthesis, or IMOS. Think inside the bone. Here, we're placing an implant like a nail right down the hollow medullary canal. This is our go-to, the absolute gold standard for diaphyseal or shaft fractures of long bones like the femur, tibia, or humerus. The other option is extramedullary OS. Think on the bone. This is where we fix implants like plates and screws to the bone's surface. The decision to go inside or outside the bone depends entirely on the personality of that fracture, its location, and its pattern. Now, speaking of intramedullary nails, we have to talk about a really clever concept called dynamisation. It's an ingenious piece of bioengineering, especially for those messy, comminuted fractures with multiple fragments. The nail is designed to allow a tiny, controlled amount of collapse, like a telescope, shortening just a hair, at the fracture site when the patient starts to bear weight. This harnesses the body's own axial load to create compression right where it's needed most, which is a huge stimulus for the bone to heal. It's brilliant. All right, so that's the world inside the bone. Now, let's jump to the outside and take a closer look at extramedullary fixation. We're going to focus specifically on plate systems because they are definitely not one-trick ponies. They have very distinct biomechanical jobs to do. Yeah, it's a huge mistake to think of a plate as just a simple internal splint. Nope. These are sophisticated, highly engineered tools designed for three very different roles. They can provide active compression, they can neutralize disruptive forces, or they can act as a buttress to prevent collapse. Let's break those down. First up is the compression plate. This is all about actively squeezing the two ends of the bone together. Think of it like a clamp. We do this by either drilling the screw holes a little off-center or by using a separate tensioning device. The goal is to create what we call static interfragmentary compression, which is just perfect for promoting primary bone healing in those simple, clean transverse breaks in the diaphysis. Next, we have the neutralization plate. The name really says it all. Its job is to neutralize bad forces. So imagine you've already fixed a more complex fracture, say an oblique or spiral one, with a separate lag screw. That screw is doing the main job, but it's vulnerable. The neutralization plate acts like a bodyguard, protecting that primary fixation from any bending or twisting that could disrupt the healing process. And finally, the buttress plate. This one functions like a retaining wall. Its purpose is to support a section of bone and, quite literally, stop it from collapsing.
This is absolutely essential for fractures near joints, in the metaphysis or epiphysis, like in a tibial plateau fracture. It provides a rigid shelf that resists axial loads and prevents that crucial articular surface from caving in.
So let's just pull that all together. The crucial takeaway is this. It's all about picking the right tool for the job. Compression plates create compression in the diaphysis. Neutralization plates protect other fixation. And buttress plates prevent collapse at the ends of the long bones. 3 different plates, 3 very different functions.
You know, this quote just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly sums up the core philosophy of modern fracture care. It's not about what the surgeon prefers or having a favorite implant. It's about being a detective. You have to analyze the unique personality of every single fracture, its location, its pattern, its biomechanical demands, and only then can you precisely match the tool to the problem.
So I want to leave you with this final thought, a question that's really at the heart of all innovation in orthopedics today. As our technology and our implants get more and more advanced, what is the ultimate goal? Are we chasing perfect, absolute mechanical stability? Or should our real focus be on preserving the biological environment that allows the bone to do what it does best, heal itself? Finding that balance, that is the entire future of osteosynthesis.